Alrighty, welcome to the beginning of March. We made it 2 months. How
We
surviving is
made it a
that?
year.
I'm still focusing on 2021. I'm trying to block out 2020 at the moment.
You were hoping for that new year, everything's going to reset thing, and that
I
reset button
screamed
just didn't
Jumanji at
happen.
midnight and nothing happened.
You did.
I-
I was next to you. It scared me.
So this is your hostess with the mostest, Angelique, with John C. Luna next to me, trying to control me as best as possible.
You didn't go through the list of titles.
No, I'm bored.
You're bored.
I'm bored.
Lately, I've been web designer, content
guy.
editor, and puppy model. So
No.
I'm jumping around these days.
Yes,
So
I know. Well, it's just like this week also we had Podfest presentation. We launched our first live radio show on BFAM 109.6. Next week we're taking callers, talking about swinging, all our little expertise. So yeah, it's jam-packed. So let's get back to the fun stuff that we normally do.
well, we have I've been waiting for this guest for a while.
Oh, yes,
Because
many years.
she has a lot of little titles here: certified sexologist, tantra practitioner, international pleasure coach. I like that one, but has your website I get lost on at Glam Erotic 101 because normally it's like one or two things I'm interested in. I'm like, I got to read this one. I got to read this one. I got to read this one. And now I have like 30 tabs open. Tyomi, welcome.
Nice. Thanks for having me. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. I follow you. I've been following you for years on Instagram. And so I know I love the content that you put out, especially
whatever stays on there.
oh gosh, that's a whole like soapbox topic right there, is just the censorship that we're experiencing and have been experiencing, because this is not new. Like, we've been in this for a while. So we've been through the ringer when it comes to our content being censored, taken down, and just, it's crazy. But, I'm glad that we're still here to be able to like have this conversation. This is awesome.
But we did a presentation this week on censorship. And there was one little fact that made me smile so much. And that is, it was, Section 230 that's been used to basically, and of course, SESTA and FOSTA that has been used to censor us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when they censored the previous president, they quoted the same laws.
Yes. They used the exact same laws that they came.
We're trying to remove harmful material. And I'm like, bite you in the ass.
Yep.
Like, this is your law and it came back.
I mean, I don't want to say what goes around comes around, but
we know that. We believe in karma.
That's definitely what happened here.
Exactly. So tell us more about you, because you have so much going on there that, I know your cowgirl, exercises are like phenomenal. Like, they're everywhere. I've caught them on like, Inside Edition, all the gossip sites. I'm like, oh, okay. So the vanilla crowd is coming over to the dark side.
I'll do CrossFit, but I definitely like watching yours much better.
Well, thank you.
well, no, he's actually sore afterwards. His inner thighs does hurt.
I was going to say, if you're watching and you're participating, you're going to feel the burn. I literally wake up Tuesday through Saturday and I work out with my clients. So actually, like, the Cowgirl Tribe was birthed out of the quarantine, because I was literally on my way to Nairobi, Kenya to host a sold out show of like 70 women who signed up for the class through my friend's podcast out there in Kenya, the Spread podcast. And then when we got shut down, for like a few days, I felt depressed. I was like, oh man, this is crazy. But I was like, okay, I have this tour that literally is halfway sold out already. What am I going to do to, number one, like still show up, and two, be able to keep these funds like flowing through? And so I was like, you know what? I've done this online before. Let me just, put it online, but not just do my tour dates. Let me turn this into a regular support program, because there are no gyms. Everybody's locked indoors. And it literally turned into like a 5-day-a-week meetup in the morning times, just working out. And so it's the only workout that I do to stay in shape. And I've been maintaining my ideal weight over the last year. So while a lot of people have been, putting on the pandemic pounds, which is understandable. I mean, you're indoors and you're eating and not really moving. I've been able to like stay indoors, eat, but still like maintain my weight, which is really important for me being a woman living with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Like it's not easy to drop weight when you have like these hormonal imbalances and everything. So the Cowgirl Workout was birthed out of people's like curiosity and like their necessity to want to ride dick better. And I was just getting letters from all over the world through YouTube. I made like 2 videos and so many vulva owners were like, Tyomi, thank you so much. I got it. It's changing my life. And then so many others were just like, yep, sis, I still don't know what I'm doing. So can you help me out? And it turned into a tour. A friend of mine here in Chicago at the Meow University, Kat, she hosts webinars and events for adults in sex education. And she was like, I'm going to book you for a class. And I was like, I've never taught this outside of the internet. So, okay, cool, let's do it. And we sold out 2 shows in like 2 weeks. And it turned into a worldwide tour in 2016. And I've just been teaching it ever since. And I'm not going to lie, a few times I've tried to like turn away from the Cowgirl Workout, but the demand has been so high and it continues to be high. And I'm like, okay, you know what? There's something here. And so it's more than just like learning how to ride dick. Like I literally teach vulva owners how to reclaim their power through movement and how to connect with their bodies through movement. And just the amazing testimonials that I receive. It's like certain things that I didn't think it would affect. Like for instance, one of my clients, she said that showing up to this workout and dedicating herself to it has not only helped her become a better lover, but a better mother. And that she is able to communicate with her daughter a lot easier about sex and just showing up and being more sex positive, but also because she has she's happier and her mood is better because she feels better about herself. She's able to hold more space for her daughter. And that to me, I was like, whoa, look at the effects that just showing up for yourself and becoming empowered sexually. Look at the effects of how it ripples throughout other parts of your life. So yeah, Cowgirl Workout is amazing. I love it. If anybody wants to join, it's members.thecowgirlworkout.com. And if you put it in Google, the Cowgirl Workout, it's the second listing that pops up after our feature in Cosmopolitan, US on cosmopolitan.com. But yeah, I feel like I got to backtrack a little bit though, because the Cowgirl Workout is like something that I created, I would say, in the middle of my career. My career in sex education started when I was 22 years old. And before my life as a sexologist, I was a model and also a freelance writer, writing for the music industry, doing different album reviews and some like PR work for artists who wanted to get their name out there. So this was back when MySpace was still like the thing and the music source. And so I was using MySpace to get the word out about different artists. And things kind of took a turn in my modeling career after I did America's Next Top Model. I thought that that was going to be like my claim to fame. And I got like a little 15 minutes of like a boost in my image, but just my idea about what I wanted to do with my life changed. And my dad just kind of cornered me one day in the house and was like, hey, listen, I know you love being a model, but you're such an amazing writer. You need to use your writing for something. And I promise you, you'll get everything you ever wanted in this life by using that gift. And so blogging was like the thing at the time. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so what can I write about every day that I won't get tired of? And it's going to bring some substance to this world. And I was like, oh, well, sex. Okay. So I started doing research. And back in like 2009, 2010, there weren't as many sexperts as there are now. Like
nope.
Nothing.
Nothing. You guys know, like there were sex therapists, right? And there were sex researchers and the academics and like those people. But individuals who were able to like connect with the everyday person, didn't see them, and definitely didn't see a lot of Black people, especially Black women, brown women that looked like me, that also spoke like me, that could speak to me. And I did a lot of research. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to be a part of the solution. I'm going to step up and start doing this work. And so I came up with my blog name, Glamerotica 101, because my nickname is Glam, short for Glamazon. And erotica is just a really deep part of my life, 101, because I'm like, hey, here's the basics. And I also started my YouTube channel because I didn't see anybody that was teaching about like the mechanics of sex, like the how-tos on YouTube. And this was before YouTube got all like, censorship heavy, just like the rest of social media. But anyway, in the times when it was fun. And so I launched my blog in 2011. It was Labor Day, 2011. And I was really surprised at how quickly it took off. At first, I was going to remain anonymous and not put my face on anything. And my mentor at the time was like, no, you have a very powerful image. So put a picture of yourself on your blog. And I did. And I think what drew a lot of people in, they were just like, wait, this girl in the banner, that's you? And you're writing all this stuff? How do you know all this stuff? Okay, you know what? Come into my radio show. And so I literally 2 weeks after launching, I started having radio shows and podcast interviews. And I was just like, whoa, and it just took off. And I've had like so many viral videos. I've been featured in all kinds of articles. I was on Tosh.0 at one point, doing some throws to commercial with my little sex position segments, which they wrote, but I just acted it out. It's been a very amazing ride in this. And even though I've been in it for going on 10 years now, it'll be 10 years this year, 2021. It feels like it's just the beginning because people are still finding me and discovering my old work for the first time. And I'm just like, it feels good because I started this knowing that I would always have a career. And I've been growing and shifting and changing. Like all the titles that I have behind my name are like things that I've learned over the last 10 years or certifications that I've received. And it's just been a beautiful journey. Like I love what I do, honestly.
I kind of miss those Wild West days of MySpace and the beginning of Facebook and
Yes.
where it was our internet.
Oh,
We could do
Blogger
whatever we
and
want.
Tumblr,
I miss Tumblr so much. Like
Yeah.
it hurt my soul when they shut it down because that was like a little secret place that I didn't really advertise that much, but it was like, if you know, you know.
Yep.
And I felt like I could be myself there. And then like my Tumblr page is still up, but I don't use it because I'm like, what's the point when they're just going to hide all of my content from the public, So you're right. It was our internet back then. And we could do practically anything and it was great. And then it just started turning on us, treating us as if we're the enemy, like all the fucking violent videos and sexual assault videos and animal abuse videos as we see on Facebook are any better than us advocating for sex positivity. Like I get so frustrated thinking about it. And then it's like in real time, we literally have to figure out how do we get through the hoops? How do we jump through the censorship to still be seen? So I hate it.
It went from one challenge to another.
Yes, it did.
So we're fighting the censorship now, and I'm sure there'll be another Wild Wild West coming up somewhere. I don't know where, but we're waiting for it.
I know. It's, as long as like there's TikTok and viral videos and they'll come up with something and redo Fosta and Sesta. And it's just, that's like one of my biggest pet peeves is Fosta and Sesta, because when that law came out, they shut down our email address. I'm like, I have no nudity whatsoever. I just have the name sex in my title.
Yep.
And I was actually in the middle of working with a local media to do like a story about talking to your kids about sex. And they shut down my email during all those conversations. I was mortified because that made me look so unprofessional. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This law just got in and shut us down. We're educators. And then by some miracle, I actually found a Facebook executive and I told them the situation and what was going on. And they're like, oh, you're all hookers. I'm like, no. There's a difference between an educator, a therapist, a medical professional that's involved with sexual wellness. Oh no, that's all hookers.
Yeah,
an executive.
It's really frustrating because everyone has a sexual charge. Everyone is filled with sexual energy. We got here through sexual energy, and sex sells practically everything on the face of this earth. Yet when it comes to raising people's vibration and awareness around how to flex their sexuality, now we're a threat and now it's a problem. And I don't like that, number one, sex work in whatever form is being attacked. But then also, two, it's like in our industry, because those laws attack like sex work, specifically in the way where someone is exchanging sexual acts for money, it almost creates like this hierarchy within our industry where educators and researchers and people who don't do like full service sex work are trying so hard to like separate themselves from sex workers on that end of the spectrum, being like, oh no, we're not the bad ones, we're the good ones. But it's like, as you can see, we're all looped in. So it doesn't matter what type of sex work you do, because the vanilla folk, the civilians who are not a part of our industry, don't see the difference. They're like, if you're a sex positive person, if you're a person speaking about sex, then you're a part of the problem. And then what they do is they place, oh, but it's the children.
For the children.
Well, the children know a lot more than what the parents want to believe. Always.
Well, the access that children have, period. I mean, you literally sit children in front of a cell phone or a tablet these days. It's not the TV anymore. Nope. Now they have child-friendly tablets that you can buy for like $99. You know, kids have them by age 2 as a Christmas gift, and they know how to navigate this stuff. Like I remember my goddaughter, I told my best friend, I said, she has a phone now. I was like, you need to make sure that you know what she's doing, because I know she's on TikTok. You're saying she's not on TikTok, but the only way she knows about these songs and these dances is because she's on TikTok, and she's telling you she's not, she's on TikTok. And she's like 7 years old, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, we are the ones that are here trying to make sure that children and the next generations up are making safe and sound decisions when it comes to their sexual health and their sexuality. By just allowing them the freedom to just go and search the internet and like discover things on their own, it's quite dangerous. I mean, it's still the Wild West on the internet, you know, where you might go down the wrong rabbit hole and you see some things that no one can explain to you. And so you may feel attracted to it, but you don't know how to safely navigate it. And so it just frustrates me when they place the safety of children as like the campaign for why they're doing all this censorship, when it's not that at all. They're just trying to police us because they have their own fucking insecurities around sex. And also they feel like they can't tax us or they can't make money off of us. So it's like, man, let's just censor them because we can't stop it. It's like, if you don't get the fuck out of here. I'm just so tired of it.
On a big level, it's about control and money.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
that's it.
If we could convince all of America just to realize that sex is so much more than biology. It's so much more than you put the innie and the outie and it comes together. It's confidence, it's drive, it's healthy relationships. It is so much more, but they boil it down to one little act. And say, yep, that's it.
That's it. Penis insertion there. Because I even tell people in our classes, like, look, in high school, if they told you to know the human anatomy, you know all your parts, and they tell you, if you know all this, you'll have the best sex in your life. How many of us would pay attention in class, in biology class?
Most of us probably would.
Yeah, exactly. Anatomy, because ever since we started being in the kink community, doing roping, I've learned more about anatomy and loving it than I did in high school, because I made sure I was best friends with the smartest kid in class. I don't care how many people are like, why are you friends with? I'm like, he's helping me pass the class. Okay.
Exactly.
If I get like a C or a D and I'm passing, that's all I care about. I don't care about his friendship or anything. Just get me out of this class.
You're smart for doing that. Like,
now you see why I'm the tech guy.
I'm the pretty one.
Great balance. Awesome balance.
It is. But you did mention about vibration. So I'm kind of like thinking is that leading towards the sacred sexuality?
I mean, yes. And also, you know, sexual energy is energy, and energy vibrates, you know what I mean? And there's different levels of vibration when it comes to sex. Like we have that basic primal level, the animalistic level, which, you know, some would say that is like dealing in the lower realms of your sexual vibration. And then when you move into sacred sexuality, it's coming into the higher chakras, you know, bringing it up to the heart and bringing it up to the mind as well. And it's dealing more deeply in the spirit and how your spirit connects with the sexual energy of other people, and also how it connects to your divinity, how it connects to your ability to heal yourself and assist in the healing of others, and also how to generate more manifestation energy. So, there's levels to this shit. It really is. And I remember like earlier on, in my sexual journey, definitely was just on like the basic level of just trying to understand myself and like, the biology and anatomy, and then also how I relate to other people. But then also on the mental side, and like social side, this idea of like using my sex for acceptance, or being seen, or whatever. So there's like so many things that you could really like dig into, so many pockets that sex can like sit in that you can explore. But there is like this huge upheaval of like people who are kind of coming out of the woodwork, or at least shifting into enlightenment or awareness around sexuality, where now there's more emphasis on the sacredness of it, and not just, something to do, or, using it for control, or using it for, out of obligation or whatever. So practicing more mindfulness around how you're using your sex, and also how it's being projected onto other people. And I will say that like my studies in Tantra have really helped me to dive even deeper into the sacredness of sex. And even in my life right now, like I have periods where I practice abstinence from partnered sex, because I have to examine for myself, like, what is the purpose here? Like, why am I actually joining with these people? Is it just to scratch an itch, or is it for something a lot higher to enrich myself and enrich them? Because what I know in looking at my sexuality from an astrological standpoint as well, in my chart, like my sex is magic. So whether I am consciously using it or not, other people have this awareness that my sex is magic. And so they will feel attracted to me, and they will come to me and wanting to join with me because they want to push through something. So they know that my sex is like a catalyst. So now that I have this awareness, I'm like, oh, well, let me be more conscious in how I use my energy instead of just fucking it off. And I will say the pandemic and being locked in, because a lot of my partners don't live in Chicago, they're all over the world. And since I haven't been able to travel, and a lot of people got, we all got like stuck in our spaces, a lot of my partners got booed up. So I've been doing a lot of like self-play, but also kink play, where there is no penetration involved, in finding a lot of satisfaction out of just being able to connect with people in that way, and not give so much of my sexual energy away through like, penetrative sexual experiences. So it's a lot to delve into. And I feel like, I've seen a hierarchy in this as well, where it's like you got the sacred sexuality people, right? And then you got like everybody else who's just looking at sex for however they're going to see it, right? And sometimes there's this idea that, oh, I'm better than you, or we're using sex in a healthier, better way if we're focusing on the sacredness of it.
I don't know.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm also like an intuitive psychic medium, and I could see all the realms. For the love of God, I still can't understand my astrological chart. I've seen it. They try and explain it. I don't get astrology. I'm sorry. It's like, but probably the Virgo over here does. I'm a Libra. He's a Virgo. Okay. So we have these challenges.
I love y'all. Like I have Libra and Virgo in my chart. I'm a Virgo moon and a Libra rising. And most of my best friends are Virgos, and some of my best lovers are Libras. So I feel like we got some good synergy.
Yeah, exactly. But I love to drive you insane when I'm off the fly.
Well, okay. So going back about 4 or 5 years ago, you brought up to do Tantra, to take a Tantra certification course. And I am very much, I'm the Scully, she's the Mulder. No, yes.
Yes, that's X-Files. Yes. I'm Mulder. Yes.
Because I love it. I'm very much the science person. My degrees are in science. I want hardcore.
Factual, solid.
She wanted to do this. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go through it. I'm on board.
Nice.
And it has changed my life. It has changed the outlook. Doing Tantra has changed being more aware of your body and your spirit. is what I would
Yes.
say. However, being aware of it and then also enjoying the animalistic, I know it's down here, it's still enjoyable. It's just opened my spectrum to say now I can go here or I can go here, and there's a range in between. And I love that journey.
I love that. And that's what it is about. You know, when you do start to delve into the spirituality of sex, it's just opening up your awareness and just helping you to become more mindful and connected to your body and how you flex that energy. And I love knowing that there is more. There is more than just the base level, you know, and there's all this juicy stuff in between. And I can totally be in this space of using my sex to heal myself and heal others. And I like to play in all of it, you know what I mean? And I'll be the first to also profess, like, I am a kinky bitch. So kink is there too. And in the communities that I've been in, there is this beautiful blend of the sacred and kink too. So using kink as a form of like cathartic therapy to like release traumas and things like that. And I will say, like, I've definitely done some work with kink in that way. And it is it's just the most amazing feeling to just let go, especially when I'm a switch, but I really enjoy being a bottom because I'm a fucking boss in my business and I'm like always in control. So just to like let go, oh, it's the most amazing thing. And I miss being a bottom. I miss being able to play with other people regularly. Like, I just don't know when we're going to get back to it. I'm hoping in a few months I can like have a play partner or two in the kink space, but you know, here we are.
And that's some things that people always misinterpret in regards to, oh, you're a submissive, or a bottom, you're just always giving away your power and you have no control. It's like, no, you misunderstand. When in our daily life, we have to control, we got to deal with family or businesses. We just want someone to take care of us. They just handle all the decisions. Like, here's the game plan. I consent to this, but you take over the show. And just enjoy.
Well, the best way I ever told someone who said that to me, because I am a switch, but I'm 90% top. It's very few people that I will bottom for, and I need to know they have the skill. But
right.
So when someone says that, the thing is, I turned around once and I said, "So you've never gotten a massage?" And they said, "Of course I have." I said, "What do you think you're doing? You are laying down. You're closing your eyes. You're surrendering your body. I don't, you think surrender is I give up, but you're surrendering.
Right.
And if they wanted to hurt you, they could, but you're trusting them not to. That is being a bottom in a way.
Oh my God. I love that example because it takes it out of the kink space into something in the healing space. Right. And then it places people in a perspective that it can actually relate to, because people don't, muggles, yeah, when they hear about kink, right, it's an automatic trigger because they only think whips, chains, handcuffs, black leather, and some scary person just trying to like take all your power away. But then when you can shift the perception for them, and you put it in that way with a massage, it makes so much sense. I'm going to start using that. Just so you know.
Go for it. Or the other one we do is hairdresser. How much power are you giving to a hairdresser?
Oh, and it's so confessional too.
It's a confessional.
it really is. Because I mean, you go and you just, because you're sitting there if you're a like black woman and you're getting like braids or a weave or something like that, you're sitting in a chair for at least 4 hours. So you're going to
you're trusting that person. You're surrendering your hair to that person that they know how to cut it, dye it, treat it. Like I have thick ass Mexican hair. So
you do.
Yes.
I found a specific hairdresser. I don't care if I have to drive an hour or anything because she knows how to tame my hair, because I've gone to other people and they've destroyed it and left me in tears. So that is like for women, if you tell them, it's like trusting a hairdresser. That's what you're doing as being a bottom. You're surrendering your hair to somebody else. That they get right away. And they're like, oh yes, you're right. That's right. I'm like,
I love those examples. I'm going to start using them because perfect way to like usher people into the beginnings of kink and helping them understand. Because I think a lot of people want to experience the Dom sub dynamic, but they're just scared because of the images that they see. And when they can't see themselves in it, they feel conflicted. It's like, I have an attraction to this thing, but I really don't know if I'm going to feel safe in this space.
So people don't also realize you can revoke consent at any time.
Exactly.
If you say, yes, I want to try something, and I don't care whether you get 5% in, 50% in, or 98% in, and at whatever point you decide to say, I'm done. That's it.
That's fine. You have every right to do that.
It's so true. I remember I was playing with a Dom one day, and everything was all good until he started dripping wax on me before I even consented to it. And I immediately had a knee-jerk reaction and was like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? I didn't consent to this. This is not okay. But then he turned around and like verbally attacked me for holding him accountable for not getting my consent first. And so I immediately stopped all the play and I like cut ties with him and didn't speak to him for like maybe 2 years until recently, where I brought that up and he apologized to me. And I was just like, he said, well, you know, I've never really played with anybody outside of the romantic context. And I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what our dynamic was, romantic or not. The fact that you're professing to be a Dom and you're playing in this way, you know the rules. You just felt like you were entitled to my body and you could do whatever. And I was going to be down with it. No, I wasn't. I mean, that's hot wax, bro. I mean, I like wax. Don't get me wrong. But if we didn't talk about this before, then just don't. Okay. So consent definitely can be revoked at any time, even if you're not feeling violated. Like, let's say you agree to go into an impact session and then you see the Dom like pulling out all these tools and you're like, hold on, wait a minute. I consent to hands, but I don't consent to any of that other stuff right there that you just pulled out. Definitely not that paddle. Definitely not that whip. So there can be some nuances in how you negotiate. You know, it's like, it could be yes to the impact, but just no to the tools being used. And I think it's so beautiful when the top has compassion and is empathetic in the way of just caring about the other person in the situation and not just being on some damn ego trip, just trying to satisfy what they want. That's not what it's about. And I think that that's the overall perception of people who are outside of the community. They think that the Dom is someone who has just like this egotistical like trip going, and they're just going to release all their stuff on the bottom. And it's like, oh no, that would be terrifying if it was that way, but it's not.
Too many CSI episodes right there.
Too many. Or Dexter episodes. It's like, whoa. This is not it. All right.
Well, we have this society, and I hate to say it, it's still out there, where people believe the guys want the sex and the women hold it almost prisoner, especially in marriage. And when it's offered, they should jump at it. And they apply that to other stuff. Now, I do a workshop just on negotiation.
Nice.
And it's empowering people to say, okay, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you here, whatever. I've literally had Doms be like, well, I don't really like hitting whatever, the breast. I just don't like it. I'm like, well, then convey it. Yeah, but they're going to expect it. I'm like, you need to talk about everything. And the bottom has as much rights as the top, but vice versa. If you're a top and the bottom's like, I want to be roped up, I want to be this, and you know, then get the needles out, and you're like, yeah, I don't do needles. Whatever it is, it's okay to go ahead and say that and say, you know, I'm not comfortable.
Exactly. Because I think sometimes there's pressure on people to like all of the things just because they're an option. And I tell people all the time when I'm teaching classes, I'm like, just because it's an option doesn't mean it's an option for you. So know what your boundaries are, know what you're into, you know, like in the world of kink, there's so much to explore. And it's awesome and it's fun. Like I remember the first time I went to FetCon and I saw someone getting wrapped up in bubble wrap.
I think I was there.
Like,
oh, yeah. We were there. We've been to the last FedCon for the last 10 years.
Did you see where they had the vacuum suits? Like they had the PVC squares set up, and someone would get in it, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And all of a sudden they like turned the vacuum on it and it went right on them, and they couldn't move at all.
Oh my God, that turns me on so much. The idea of it, just the image of it, I don't know. It looks really freaky, but it also looks so cool. Like I want to be in that vacuum sealed packaging just to see what it's like. I mean, I've already done saran wrap mummification, but that's like the beginning of me delving deeper into a really hard kink that I have that I want to try, like real mummification, and then like being waterboarded, which my dad was like, why the fuck would you want to do that? I was like, I know you're triggered because you have military training, and please don't judge me. Okay. I cannot explain to you why. I just want to do it. Okay. Leave me alone. But yeah, I was like really amazed at the fact that, okay, so it was like the Dom was wrapping the person in bubble wrap, right? And they were doing this in the hallway. And I was like, this is cool. And then the sub was just there, just like in bliss, like, and then there was a guy standing who was watching as a voyeur. He was totally a sadist. Like I felt his energy, and he just was like smiling because he kept saying, kick him over, kick him over. And I'm just sitting here like, this is dope. The fact that there is someone who wants to be wrapped up in bubble wrap in like this form of bondage. There's someone who actually finds joy in wrapping them. And then there's someone else who finds joy in just watching the whole thing go down. And this space is literally being held for everybody to express that. And I was just like, man, I wish the world outside of here could witness this and see this and understand how beautiful it is, that no matter what you're into, you know, there's a space for you, and there are people who want to join with you in it. And if you're not into it, it's also cool. And you could choose to watch with consent, you know, or not. And I will say, opening up my life to kink and getting some coaching to guide me into the world of kink was the best decision I ever made for my life, not just my sex life, for my life, because it's helped me to just be more accepting of other things that I used to be a little more rigid and judgmental about. And I'm just like, wow, I don't know what my life would look like if I didn't embrace my kinks.
I am so there with you. A couple years ago, I was at a conference, and I won't go through the whole story, but essentially, this girl had a kidnap fantasy, and she vocalized it. And when she was done vocalizing it, there was probably a dozen of us that were just,
okay, we want to go participate
on the floor. And it didn't happen. And we were hoping it was going to happen this year and meet up, but everything got canceled. But we went kind of through the beginning of negotiation to make sure we're on the same page, and it was. Okay,
oh, no. Let's promote this shit. It was a Midori class. Midori was doing this negotiation scene with this girl. She was teaching us how to casually grab the information based on their likes and wants and needs of what their daily life was and what they desire. So Midori was walking us through, but nobody took her up on her offer to be kidnapped. They only thought it was just for a scene. And at the end of the show, of the conference, we found out she really wanted that to happen. But no one, asked her, because they just thought it was just for the presentation.
You know what? That's interesting that you say that, because I think that some people would see a kidnapping fetish as a very hard kink, right? And some people are uncomfortable with forms of play that in real life, when you see it, it's something that's not consented and it's very triggering, very traumatizing. And so I can see how, for a class, people would be very engaged in seeing how the negotiations would go, but then actually stepping up to the plate in real life requires a lot of inner work to check in with yourself to see like, okay, do I feel safe even being in this situation? Can I maintain a space of innocence and play in this, knowing that it's literally just a scene and, there's consent in this? Or is it too triggering for me to like take myself out of like the real world implications of like being kidnapped? So I can see that, because there's quite a few like things that I've heard where I sit with it with myself and I ask myself, would I be able to play in that way? Like, would I be able to top somebody in this? Or would I be able to be the bottom in this? Could I be a bystander and just watch it happen? Like, what would come up for me? But I think that's also the beauty of all of this, because it presents us with an opportunity to really examine where our heads are at with the things that we're presented with, and to kind of like go in and do the inner work if there's like heavy judgment or like guilt or like any like ill feelings that are coming up around it. Because we know in this space specifically, it's play and it's fantasy that we're choosing to like then act out with full consent and awareness and, you know, control. It can be stopped at any time. So, wow. I hope she got her fantasy fulfilled though.
Well, no,
That
because
would be
like I
nice.
We
said,
don't know. We haven't spoken to her in over a year.
over
I'm
a year,
hoping she
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But if she's out there and we meet her again, I am totally
Yeah,
on
we
board
totally
with
done.
that.
Because what happened was
Nice.
someone brought in a luggage cart and she got excited because she thought she was getting kidnapped and it wasn't for her.
Oh.
That's what broke my heart. I was like, oh.
Wait, did she want to be put in a luggage? Like,
You just want to be
No.
kidnapped.
She wanted to be put in the trunk of a car and driven around, but we all flew there.
Oh, okay.
So we're going through the whole, we can't do that, but I can blindfold you and I can hang you from a luggage cart. We just need to make sure wherever in the hotel I'm bringing you, you know, we'll go through, we'll go through the freight elevator. We'll do some stuff. We just need to make sure like the hotel's not calling the police on us.
Did she like, so hanging her from a luggage cart, like, was she going to be bound and gagged and then
blindfolded the whole 9 yards? She wanted the whole kidnapping scene like that,
Well,
tied up on her arms in the luggage cart, blindfolded.
Hers was dark.
Yeah.
She wanted it to eventually end up in a room, and she wanted to do a gang rape scene. So,
she was going there?
Yeah, she was going there, and I went through all the questions of, you know, have you had group sex before? Have you had violent? Is there trauma I need to know about? Because those are all the things that the last thing I want to do is get arrested at a convention where I'm speaking. That never works out well.
No, it doesn't. But you know, the fact that everybody was like able to hold space for that for her, and everyone had like the training and the knowledge to be able to like go through all the questions and make sure like she would feel safe. That's beautiful. Because I don't know any other spaces in this world where someone could feel 100% innocent in expressing that and wouldn't have the cops called on them or like the psychiatric ward and just be like, this person's fucking crazy. Come get them. Like, no. At sex conventions, though, we could do this because we have the tools to be able to navigate things like that in a way that's safe. And in the end of it, it still expresses love. I know it might be difficult for some people to see how love can be in the mix of all of that when you have a really dark fantasy. But there is something within that fantasy where she feels like she can feel freedom. And I'm just like, man, to sit with that is beautiful to me, to be able to like shift my mind and be like, all right, I can see that. Because in other situations, you probably couldn't. And honestly, I would just want to be a voyeur. So I would be an accomplice in the kidnapping.
Yeah, you'll be the lookout,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
me. I was like, I'll be the lookout. You know, I'll cover all the bases. But look, if that brings
my bag ready, I'm like, where are we going?
John's like, all right. I'm like, if that brings joy to somebody, we could do that. I am grateful for that.
Yes, I'll be the lookout. I'll be the driver. I'll be the person doing the gag. Like I'll be the accomplice, and also that loving source to be there for aftercare, you know, and all that good stuff. But I would totally want to be there to hold space for it because I would just want to see the process and like seeing her go through her thing and just go through like the range of emotions and then just seeing what the aftermath is. That's what I'm most interested in, is like, after this is all said and done, what does she look like? What does she feel like? Like,
did she go into subspace? See, that will be my question. Yes. It's like after that adrenaline rush, because that is an adrenaline rush from start to finish. Yeah. How does your body just completely crash into subspace? You know?
But the one thing I didn't get to, but I always ask, is even after a scene like that, there's going to be aftercare. And I don't know whether that's you need silence or you need a certain blanket and a warm body to hold for a few hours and go to sleep.
Or pizza and soda.
Oh yeah, sometimes that's
pizza and soda, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know, like what she would consider to be aftercare after such a hard scene. You know what I mean? man, now I just feel like I wish I could reach out to her. Like I have so many questions.
Oh, I know
Hopefully that will
it.
be a future episode.
I will be tuned into that because man,
You know, it's one of those things growing up. Again, I was always taught to be respectful. Italian, Roman Catholic, all boys Catholic high school, the whole bit.
12 years.
And now I'm at a point in my life
wow.
where, doing that type of thing, as long as it's consensual, let's do it. I'm on board because I know there's so few people out there that will help them do it.
Or hold space
Or
for them.
there's plenty of people that'll help them do it, but will do it wrong.
Right. And that's beautiful. The fact that like we know as practitioners of the sexual arts that we literally have the capacity to be able to hold space for people in that way. And this world is filled with billions of people. But just because there's billions of people doesn't mean that there are billions of opportunities for us to really express ourselves sexually the way that we want. And so when you do find the people in this world who can be like those beautiful mirrors and like create those containers for you, it is a special gift.
Yep.
This is why I get so pissed off at the fact that, the world, like society is doing so much to try to censor us because I'm like, you don't even understand the gifts that we have and that we bring to people and the amount of healing and just connection that we're able to provide for people because we're holding space for the things that you people would see as crazy. You know what I mean?
The stuff that I think most people think that is important isn't. That's a whole long conversation.
That's a different conversation. Let's talk something fun stuff. Like, what is the Pleasure Academy? I'm curious.
So I am at the point in my career where I realized, like, in order for me to hold space for as many people as possible who enjoy how I teach and how I put the information out there, that it's time for me to have a more like passive source for people to access curriculum on a deeper level, but also at their own pace. So because I am international and I have clients all over the world because I have such a broad reach, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start an academy. And so the pleasureacademy.com, I'm launching it in the month of March. And it's just going to be a space where people can come and they can access different classes and courses that they can unlock. And as long as they are a student of the academy, all of their content will be there and dripped out for them to complete whenever they're ready. Because what I've found, right, is even in doing webinars online, some people will sign up and they can't make it. But because I'm always offering a replay link, then, they get the replay link. And then some people will literally sit on it for a whole year.
Yep.
And never open it. And then a year later, come right in customer service, like, hey, that link that I got in this class that I did over a year ago doesn't work anymore. How can I have access? And I'm like, so in this container and the way that we've done it, there is a limit for when you can access this. And so I was like, how can I solve this issue? And I thought about other like coaching programs that I'm a part of where I've bought them and I haven't even started yet. And the stuff is still sitting there. But the great thing is that when I go to my account, it's still there for me to access. Like there is no time limit. And so I wanted it to be more than just about sex stuff. Like it's definitely sex forward, but it's about pleasure. So there's other aspects of pleasure and certain aspects of our experience that I will be teaching on as well, especially delving into like the spirit and the mind and just like perspective and just helping people remove some of those blocks that are there mentally and spiritually to help them experience more pleasure in general. And so I'm excited about it. It's to set it up so that it can become an automated thing. It takes a lot of work with like writing the curriculum and putting the pieces together and the documents and the videos and stuff like that. But I'm starting out with 3 courses that are near and dear to my heart and that I can teach like the back of my hand. And then I'll be going through the process of just creating new curriculum and putting it out there. So it solves the issue that I've been having around like people who want to be a part of my programs, but the time zones don't match up for like live webinars. And then it also solves that issue of people feeling like, man, I don't have the time right now, but I really need this content. So I was really surprised that it was available as a domain name. I was like, oh shit, nobody bought this yet? Cool, it's mine.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. Because I thought for sure someone might have bought it.
thepleasureacademy.com was available, and now I own it. And one
Wow.
thing that I also do on the back end, and I highly suggest other sex educators do this, is I invest in digital real estate through purchasing different sex-based domain names, and I sit on them until somebody wants to buy it or until they go up in value, and then I'll put it out on the market. So I don't know if anybody else is in the digital real estate game like that.
A little. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we
But
made the mistake. We had a really good one a couple of years ago and we just didn't renew it and then came out, find out later it's like, quadruple. I was like, crap, I should have kept it. So yeah.
yep, it happens like that. Sometimes you lose a good one. It's like, next time.
It's
So
investing.
yeah, I'm excited about it. It also takes the pressure off of me, feeling like I have to do so many live webinars. Like I really do enjoy coaching in a group container, but I also want to know that I'm not stressing people out. Like I'm not here to put more stress in your life. I want you to enjoy sex and I want you to enjoy your life and pleasure in every aspect of it without you feeling like A, it's going to be a strain on your finances, and B, it's going to be a strain on your time and your energy. So drip, drip, drip. And you can go at your own pace.
And have fun. That's the best part.
That's
all
the
about having fun.
best part. Like coming into this game, into this industry, I said, I just want to make things easy and fun for people. And I think I've mastered that energy of just being like, hey, you know what? Come on, laugh at yourself. It's all right. I understand you got some things going on, but let's just take a deep breath and let's look at how we can make this more easily digestible and for you to integrate into your life and not see this as such a big hurdle. I think when we approach sex as like, man, it's just such a hard problem I got to get through. It's like, then you don't feel like actually working on it. You know what I mean? But when you can approach it with love and laughter and just kind of like with lightheartedness and innocence, it's like, wow, I never thought of it that way. And then just opens up just the possibilities for you to grow and expand in beautiful ways.
Yeah, we often say it's like when we're children, we have a better imagination. And as an adult, we totally forget. And guess what?
Yep.
Sex, you have to have a vivid imagination to have fun with.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you said that, because the one thing I always say is like, I'm helping to moisten your erotic imagination. And because what I know is like, the one thing we hear all the time from people is like, how do I spice it up? How do I make, and what I hear is that phrase behind that is, how do I make sex fun again? That's what I hear.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm using that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do I make sex fun again? And I always go to like, you got to moisten your erotic imagination. If you're not using it, it's stale. It's like cobwebs on it. And so it's like, what Jesus said, like Yeshua, in order to get into the kingdom, you have to become like a child again. It's literally that with literally everything when it comes to healing. In order to get back to that space of freedom, you got to return back to that space of feeling innocent, to just play and allow your mind to go there. And like, I remember when I was younger, my teachers would get on me all the time because I'm a daydreamer. I would literally just sit and look out the window and daydream. But also what I realized was that it wasn't just me daydreaming. I was having premonitions. So there's that, but that I never turned that off. I never allowed my imagination to die, because when I was moving out of childhood, I was like, I don't want to grow up, but I know it's happening, but I'm going to keep the aspects of being a child that I really enjoy. And that's being playful and imaginative. And I've kept that. And I pass that on to my clients and the people who resonate with my voice online.
Growing up has so much more to do with responsibility than,
Yes,
acting old. People think they can still be children, but act old. Oh, you've grown up. Look, I'm going on 50, and in 2 weeks, I'm getting more tattoos. I'm not growing.
Look, I'm a 45-year-old brat. I'm proud of it.
I got that brat energy from you. I don't know why, but I just did. I felt it.
Yes.
Because she irradiates it.
I love that though. Like, In times when I'm like, I have a lot of heavy adulting, because like in my kink too, I'm a little, so I'm an age player, and my little was 3 years old. And when I have to do a lot of heavy adulting, that triggers my little space. And I'll just go lay in my bed because my bed is covered in unicorns and teddy bears. And um, my headboard lights up. And so I turn the light on with my unicorns. And I'm just like, okay, let's take a break right here, because all the responsibilities of being an adult sometimes can be like, overwhelming. But then I go into my little space and then I'm reminded, like, you are provided for, you're cared for, everything's fine. Even though your ego is telling you your world's on fire, it's actually not on fire. You're good.
So there you go. Your ring pops could work on Tyomi.
Oh, they absolutely would.
Oh, well, I do a daddy dom and I keep ring pops handy. Yeah, I become popular with the littles.
Yeah, with the littles. Because when we used to go to conferences and do our broadcast recordings, we knew that there was a littles room. So in order to entice them to come over and do a podcast interview, we had animal crackers and ring pops. And John created this little Snoopy sign, hugs for ring pops.
Oh my gosh.
That was the beginning of his daddy powers.
I'm looking for a daddy dom. I'm out here daddyless right now. But it's not the easiest thing to find.
No.
Especially if they know their shit.
Yeah, they do. And like my little only comes out when she feels safe. But even though I don't have a daddy, little baby has friends. Like my twin sister, she's always held space for my little, because I've been a little longer than before I knew what it was. Like, it's literally ever since I was a kid. It's like 3 years old was that age. And I've literally played in this like baby role for most of my life. But my sister has always been the one to take care of her and nourish her and pay attention to her. And then she also has another friend who is like her human unicorn, so to speak. And, you know, my friend is always like advocating for little baby. So she'll text me and be like, how's little baby doing? And my sister will too. And so even though I don't have a daddy dom right now, I do have people who cater to the little in me. That is a really big part of who I am. And it keeps her alive, and it creates a balance for me. So for any littles out there that feel like you're alone because you don't have a daddy and it's like hard to find one, just know that there are other people who can hold space for you and still interact with you and meet you in your little space. And you can still express that and feel balanced and seen.
Yes, definitely. We're very fortunate here in Orlando. There is a Little Scouts. So it is it's kind of like a Girl Scout organization, but just for littles. And pre-COVID, but still, even during COVID, they did virtual play dates. So you would go to like a comic book store and see all these like adults with their, lunch colorful books and their lunch boxes. And their one of the girls actually has a business making pacifiers or binkies. I don't know what they call them anymore, for the little, so that way they have their little binky with them. So yeah, we're very blessed in that little area.
Orlando has some dope ass shit for the sex community. Like,
we do.
There's so much down there. I'm jealous because like in Chicago, I don't really know where to go. Like, I just moved back to Chicago 2 years ago. And even before that, I wasn't too like heavy on the scene in Chicago because I was always moving around and traveling and connecting with people from other places. So I'm hoping I can find a little space to interact with other littles here in Chicago somewhere.
We hope so too. So this has been so amazing. We've had so much fun. We are so eternally grateful that you've been on the show. How can our audience members find you?
Oh gosh. Okay. Social media for sure. Instagram at Real Glamazon Tyomi, and on Twitter at Glamazon Tyomi. Check out my blog, glamorerotica101.com, and its YouTube channel, youtube.com/glamorerotica101. Thepleasureacademy.com is launching soon. If you go there now, you can sign up for the email list. You will see that the page is incomplete right now, but nevertheless, if you want to sign up just so you can get alerts for when we are live, just scroll to the bottom of that page and put your email in, and boom, you'll be added to that list. Also, Glamorerotica will be having like a relaunch this summer because I'm going back to my baby for a little while. I've been just kind of like working with other entities and doing other things, traveling the world. And so I'm excited to like get back to this platform that I've built and actually expanding it and making it even bigger. But yeah, just hit me up online. And if you want to join the Cowgirl Workout Tribe, it's literally a fitness program with sex education as its foundation. And it's more than just us working out. We do monthly challenges. I also read The Way of Mastery with my clients to help them fall into a deeper love vibration. And I often upload the replays of different webinars that I do as well. So you get an extra bonus. And that's members.thecowgirlworkout.com. Check us out there. We work out Tuesday through Saturday live at between 8:30 and 9 a.m. Central Time, if you have the time. And if you don't, the replays are always uploaded to the tribe. But yep, if you can't remember any of that, if you just put Tyomi in Google, you could find a lot of my stuff. You will find me.
We will make sure all that information is in their show notes links. Thank you very much. We'll see you
Thanks
next
for
week.
having me.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.